Hello horror fans, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. Believe it or not, we just got the insane revelation that Winnie the Pooh, the good old yellow honey-loving bear, is being turned into a horror movie, and the internet has of course lost their minds on it. So what I'm going to be doing here for you guys, not only showing you photos of this Winnie the Pooh horror movie, I'm going to be explaining to you how this is even possible, how the internet is reacting to it, and my personal opinion on the matter. But I'm still going to need your guys' input in the comment section, specifically because in my channel I would say I have a pretty good roundabout horror fan base. So I would think a lot of my viewers are up for this, but I know there's going to be tons of people also that are super against it. Either way, would be happy to know what you guys think. So earlier in the week, the website Dead Central was doing some digging online for upcoming horror movies, and they stumbled upon this one titled Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. When going to their IMDb page, you'll find out here that there is an independent horror movie being made about Winnie the Pooh, where the plot synopsis just reads a retelling of the legend of Winnie the Pooh. I know Winnie the Pooh is iconic, but he's a legend now? Whoa. You know, Morbius is a Marvel legend.
Intriguing.
And heck, as I'm filming this, Variety just came out with an article with even more details about this Winnie the Pooh horror movie, and they sound pretty cool to me. In the article it says here, according to Waterfield, who also wrote and co-produced the film, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey will see Pooh and Piglet as the main villains. Going on a rampage after being abandoned by a college-bound Christopher Robin is pulled away from them and he's not given them food. It's made Pooh and Piglet's life quite difficult. Because they've had to fend for themselves so much, they've essentially become feral, Waterfield continue, so they've gone back to their animal roots where they're no longer tame. They're like a vicious bear and a pig who want to go around and try and find prey. I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm extremely surprised with those details because just from the looks of these photos that they released online, it looked to me like it was just a stereotypical home invasion movie, maybe some guys in masks coming in to attack a group of people enjoying their time in the woods. They just happened to look like Winnie the Pooh, but the fact here that they're using this public domain to their advantage and actually embracing the Winnie the Pooh lore of bringing in Christopher Robin, mentioning they were his imaginary friends and they were abandoned, so now they're hungry, angry, going animalistic. This sounds great. The movie might not be, I want to make that clear, but it just sounds like fun and like they're actually embracing the Winnie the Pooh-isms. You can pretty much tell, yeah, that's Winnie the Pooh's face alright, but it comes off in a very creepy way where I don't think you'd want to run into that. You can even see the flannel he's wearing is red, of course, to kind of match with his red attire that we usually know him by. When we look at another photo, we see a lovely lady just trying to enjoy herself in the hot tub when in the background, you have Winnie the Pooh himself with who I'm assuming is the new Piglet of this horror remake, and it looks like they really took some liberties with the Piglet look, because I wouldn't be able to tell you that was Piglet. The only reason I could tell is through the pig snout. So I know the question a lot of people are probably asking themselves right now is, how is this even possible? Doesn't Disney own the rights to Winnie the Pooh? Shouldn't they be suing the crap out of these people right now? Well, unlike the ugly Sonic situation that we saw happen this month also with the Chip and Dale movie, where that was a character owned by Sega and Paramount, but Chip and Dale got away with using that character because of parody law. They were making fun of Ugly Sonic, calling him Ugly Sonic, giving him ugly-like features. That parody legal loophole is not applying here with this being a horror parody of Winnie the Pooh. Earlier in the year, we found out Winnie the Pooh entered the public domain. For those of you who are unaware of public domain, whenever a character is created and copyright owned by one person, there is a time limit put on how long that individual can keep the character solely to themselves before it becomes public domain, aka something that anybody and everybody can use to tell their own stories. I believe right now that current time frame is 70 years, so the 70 years have passed for Winnie the Pooh, making him public domain at the start of 2022, and someone did not waste any time with taking that to their advantage and making a horror version of the character. Tigger himself is not allowed to be in this movie because he's still technically under copyright law. He has not entered the public domain yet, so do not expect to see Tigger appear in this movie. And in fact, Eeyore, which is like the miserable donkey that shows up in Winnie the Pooh, they say right here in the article that he was eaten by Winnie the Pooh and Piglet because they were starving. To me, it is pretty wild that this still happened to a Disney character, because Disney and other bigger studios have been known to kind of finesse copyright law or lobby that they keep extending the time frame of the copyright so they don't lose their their famous characters, which is why there's some legal loopholes sometimes for other characters out there that should be public domain, but because of some weird reason, they found a way to keep them theirs for much longer. Even an article recently came out that I believe by 2024, Disney is looking to lose the rights exclusively to Mickey Mouse. So heck, in a couple of years, we could be seeing a Mickey Mouse horror movie because that'll become public domain, and then anybody can make whatever kind of movie they want about Mickey Mouse. And you know what? On that note, let's actually break it down a little deeper here, because just because something is public domain doesn't mean you can get away with anything with Winnie the Pooh now. Although Winnie the Pooh is public domain and you and me can go out and make our own version of a horror movie, we can't necessarily copy exact things that other people have gone at liberty with the Winnie the Pooh character from its origination. So a big drawback is they can't make Winnie the Pooh or a lot of their other characters look too much like the Disney version. So even though he's got a red flannel, he could never be wearing a red plain shirt because that's something Disney made up and is iconic with the Disney version. I'm assuming that's probably also why Piglet had to look the way he did in this horror movie, because Disney was kind of the ones that perfected the Piglet look and personality, that if they tried copying that, then it'd be copying the Disney version of Winnie the Pooh instead of what was originally created when it first got published. So now that you know kind of how this is possible and why people are doing this, in my opinion, I see nothing wrong with this. I think, yes, it would be different if Disney still exclusively owned the rights to Winnie the Pooh and someone was just doing the legal loophole of a horror parody and trying to finesse their way into making some cheap little horror movie. But with Winnie the Pooh becoming public domain, like, this is the beauty of public domain. People are now allowed to tell whatever stories they want with the character. We've seen this countless of times with other characters, and it's worked out pretty well. Like Sherlock Holmes is a character in the public domain. Without it, we would have never have gotten the Robert Downey Jr. version that I really like. But then also we got the Benedict Cumberbatch version that I liked even more. Peter Pan is also a character that is constantly getting reboots, remakes, and whatnot because that character is in public domain. And even though most people associate Peter Pan with the Disney version, I am in love with Hook. That's the Steven Spielberg version of Peter Pan, where they told an older version of what happens when Peter Pan grows up and goes back to Neverland. Heck, speaking of Disney, that's basically how their empire was created. All their popular Disney princesses and characters were public domain. Disney then went ahead and said, oh, free characters, we can make up our own stories? Let's make a whole park. And without things like public domain, Disney might not have been as successful as it is today. So I understand there's people out there who are looking at this Winnie the Pooh horror movie and going, you're ruining my childhood. You're messing up something that was innocent, cute, and sweet. How could you? You're messed up in the head. I mean, this is the freedom of art, man. There's an appetite for something like this. I can't tell you how many YouTube videos I've scrolled through on my homepage or my search feed of childlike things turned horror. Like, I don't know what it is about things that we love from our childhood, but there's a group of people sick like me who love seeing it get turned into a horror movie. I really tried putting myself in the shoes of the people who are so angry and upset about this and thinking to myself, what cartoon would I be mad at if they turned it into a horror movie? And all the ones I could think of, I just actually want to see happen. But again, I respect your opinion if you're someone who's against this. Winnie the Pooh, the Disney version, is not going anywhere. He's going to continue to get cartoons, movies, and whatnot by Disney and remain the way he is that you grew up knowing. But just expect to see a lot of other Winnie the Pooh versions now coming out. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you think of this whole horror movie Winnie the Pooh situation? Are you going to be checking this movie out? Is this something you're offended by? I'd love to know from everybody. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.